You can pause the video and give this one a try, and then we will look at the solution for this particular question. Alright guys, so in this video we are going to see two methods of solving this question from CAT 23 slot first. This concept is dilution, and what I have observed over the years is that the questions that they ask in dilution or based on dilution concept, they are fairly easy. So make sure that you understand this concept very nicely. It is also called as the wine left formula. If you are still not very much clear with this particular concept, you can check out my course in the description where I have explained this entire concept and lots of other concepts in detail. So what we have in this question is a mixture P that is formed by removing a certain amount of coffee from a coffee jar and replacing it with same amount of cocoa powder. Right, so this is our mixture P. It is pure coffee. Suppose this is V grams. Suppose from this you are removing X grams of coffee and adding X grams of cocoa. This they are calling it as mixture P. So mixture P has some amount of coffee and it has some amount of cocoa, right? From this they are repeating, or in this they are repeating the procedure. They remove X grams and they again add X grams of cocoa. So after this transaction, they have a mixture Q. Mixture Q also has some coffee and some cocoa. Now, we have been given in this question the ratio of cocoa and coffee in the mixture Q. So, in the mixture Q, cocoa and coffee are present in the ratio 16:9. Okay. Now, if you remember the wine left formula or the dilution formula, guys, whenever we start with a V liters of pure solution and we remove and replace X with some other substance, then the fraction of that particular pure substance left after n transactions is V minus X upon V the whole raised to n. N is the number of transactions we are conducting, the number of times we are conducting the replacement. So V minus X upon V the whole raised to n is the fraction or the concentration of the pure substance left after n transactions. If you want to understand this concept in detail, yes, once again, you can check out the course link in the description where I've explained this and other concepts in detail. So V minus X upon V the whole raised to 2 will be the fraction of the pure substance left after two dilutions or two such transactions. And we can see very closely here the ratio of coffee to cocoa is 16:9. So the fraction of coffee out of the total mixture in Q will be 16 out of 25 because the mixture contains coffee and cocoa. The ratio is 16:9. So total mixture is worth 16 plus 9, that's 25. Now we can basically solve this and we'll obtain the ratio of V and X in this. So we take the square roots on both sides first. We will end up with V minus X upon V is 4 by 5. Cross multiplying, we get 5V minus 5X is 4V, or that gives me V is equal to 5X. Now this tells us that X upon V would be 1 by 5. That means if your starting content of coffee is 5 units, you are removing 1 unit every time and replacing by cocoa, or the fraction of the mixture removed and replaced is 1 by 5. Now for making things easier, you can take some values for V and X. Alright, so let's take the starting amount of coffee as 5 grams. From this you are removing 1 and replacing by cocoa. So in the mixture P, coffee content is 4 and cocoa content is 1. So next time again we are removing 1 gram from the mixture, but this 1 gram of the mixture now contains both coffee and cocoa. So the amount of coffee removed will be 1 into 4 by 5 and the amount of cocoa removed will be 1 into 1 by 5. So coffee remaining is 4 minus 4 by 5 and cocoa remaining is 1 minus 1 by 5. But technically you are also adding 1 unit of cocoa, right? So total cocoa content in the mixture Q will be 1 minus 1 upon 5 plus 1. This becomes 2 minus 1 by 5, or basically 9 by 5. And now we have the answer to our question. The cocoa content in mixture P was basically 1 and the cocoa content in mixture Q was 9 by 5. The ratio that we require is 1 is to 9 by 5 or 5 is to 9. And that is your C option, very evidently. Now it's a very complicated way of solving the question, but if you're not very much clear with the concept of dilution, this is the amount of effort you will need to put in to solve the particular question. Now let's look at a quick shortcut to solve this particular question. We have already studied this in the concept of dilution, that if you're removing and replacing by some amount, okay, the pure mixture, the initial pure substance will always get multiplied by the same factor. For example, if you start with a 100-liter pure acid solution, if you remove 10 liters and replace by water in every transaction, the acid content will be reduced by 10% every time. So it will basically get multiplied by zero point 0.9 in every transaction, right? The same concept we can now use to solve this question much quickly. So let's suppose that the initial amount of coffee in the mixture was, let's say, 1 gram, right? And finally, the fraction of coffee became 16 by 25. Now, 1 should be multiplied by the same factor 2 times to become 16 by 25. That gives us 1 into x square is 16 by 25, or x is basically 4 by 5. So in every dilution, in every transaction, the coffee content is getting multiplied by 4 by 5, right? So now in the mixture Q, let's suppose the coffee and the cocoa contents are 16 grams and 9 grams respectively. The coffee content 16 grams is obtained by multiplying by 4 by 5 as we have discussed. So the coffee content in the mixture P got multiplied by 4 by 5 to give you 16. So initially the coffee content was 5 into 4, 20. And we also have seen from the concept of dilution that the total solution always has the same value. So 16 plus 9 is 25. The mixture is always worth 25 in this particular case. So the amount of cocoa in the mixture P will be 5 to make the total 25. Cocoa content in the mixture P is 5. In Q it is 9. Very simply we have got our answer as option C, 5 is to 9. So you have to be very much aware of this particular concept to be able to solve the question quickly.